Rabbi Johanan says, leprosy and the lack of children are not chastisements of love. But is leprosy not a chastisement of love? Is it not taught, if a man has one of these 4 symptoms of leprosy, it is nothing else but an altar of atonement? They are an altar of atonement, but they are not chastisements of love. If you like, I can say, this teaching of the Berakhoth is ours in Babylonia, and that saying of Rabbi Johanan is theirs in Palestine. If you like, I can say, this teaching of the Berakhoth refers to hidden leprosy, that saying of Rabbi Johanan refers to a case of visible leprosy. But is the lack of children not a chastisement of love? How is this to be understood? Shall I say that he had children and they died? Did not Rabbi Johanan himself say, this is the bone of my 10th son? Rather, say then that the former saying refers to one who never had children, the latter to one who had children and lost them. Rabbi ben Abiphalio and Rabbi Johanan went in to visit him. He said to him, are your sufferings welcome to you? He replied, neither they nor their reward. He said to him, give me your hand. He gave him his hand and he raised him. Rabbi Johanan once fell ill and Rabbi Amidah went in to visit him. He said to him, are your sufferings welcome to you? He replied, neither they nor their reward. He said to him, give me your hand. He gave him his hand and he raised him. Why could not Rabbi Johanan raise himself? They replied, the prisoner cannot free himself from jail. Rabbi Elazar fell ill and Rabbi Johanan went in to visit him. He noticed that he was lying in a dark room, and he bared his arm and light radiated from it. Thereupon he noticed that Rabbi Elazar was weeping, and he said to him, why do you weep? Is it because you did not study enough Torah? Surely we learned, the one who sacrifices much and the one who sacrifices little have the same merit, provided that the heart is directed to heaven. Is it perhaps lack of sustenance? Not everybody has the privilege to enjoy 2 tables. Is it perhaps because of the lack of children? This is the bone of my 10th son. He replied to him, I am weeping on account of this beauty that is going to rot in the earth. He said to him, on that account you surely have a reason to weep. And they both wept. In the meanwhile he said to him, are your sufferings welcome to you? He replied, neither they nor their reward. He said to him, give me your hand. And he gave him his hand and he raised him. Once 400 jars of wine belonging to Rabbi Hannah turned sour. Rab Judah, the brother of Rabbi Salih the pious, and the other scholars, some say, Rabbi Ada ben Haba and the other scholars, went in to visit him and said to him, the master ought to examine his actions. He said to them, am I suspect in your eyes? They replied, is the Holy One, blessed be he, suspect of punishing without justice? He said to them, if somebody has heard of anything against me, let him speak out. They replied, we have heard that the master does not give his tenant his lawful share in the vine twigs. He replied, does he leave me any? He steals them all. They said to him, that is exactly what the proverb says, if you steal from a thief you also have a taste of it. He said to them, I pledge myself to give it to him in the future. Some report that thereupon the vinegar became wine again. Others that the vinegar went up so high that it was sold for the same price as wine. It has been taught, how that Benjamin says, all my life I took great pains about 2 things, that my prayer should be before my bed, and that my bed should be placed north and south. That my prayer should be before my bed. What is the meaning of before my bed? Is it perhaps literally in front of my bed? Has not Rab Judah said in the name of Rab? Some say, in the name of Rabbi Joshua ben Levi. How do you know that when one prays there should be nothing interposing between him and the wall? Because it says, then Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and prayed. Do not read before my bed, but near my bed. And that my bed should be placed north and south. For Rabbi Hama ben Rabbi Hanina said in the name of Rabbi Isaac, whosoever places his bed north and south will have male children, as it says, and whose belly thou fillest with thy treasure, who have sons in plenty. Rabbi Naaman ben Isaac says, his wife also will not miscarry. Here it is written, and whose belly thou fillest with thy treasure, and elsewhere it is written, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold there were twins in her womb. It has been taught, how that Benjamin says, when 2 people enter a synagogue to pray, and one of them finishes his prayer first, and does not wait for the other but leaves, his prayer is torn up before his face. For it is written, thou that tearest thyself in thine anger, shall the earth be forsaken for thee? And more than that, he causes the divine presence to remove itself from Israel. For it says, or shall the rock be removed out of its place? And rock is nothing else than the Holy One, blessed be he, as it says, of the rock that begot thee thou wast unmindful. And if he does wait, what is his reward? Rabbi Hosea ben Rabbi Hanina says, he is rewarded with the blessings enumerated in the following verse, O that thou wouldest hearken to my commandments, then would thy peace be as a river, and thy righteousness as the waves of the sea. Thy seed also would be as the sand, and the offspring of thy body like the grains thereof, etc. It has been taught, how that Benjamin says, if the eye had the power to see them, no creature could endure the demons. Abbe says, they are more numerous than we are and they surround us like the ridge round a field. Rabbi Hannah says, everyone among us is 1,000 on his left hand, and 10,000 on his right hand. Rabbah says, the crushing in the Kala lectures comes from them. Fatigue in the knees comes from them. The wearing out of the clothes of the scholars is due to their rubbing against them. The bruising of the feet comes from them. If one wants to discover them, let him take sifted ashes and sprinkle around his bed, and in the morning he will see something like the footprints of a cock. If one wishes to see them, let him take the afterbirth of a black she-cat, the offspring of a black she-cat, the firstborn of a firstborn, let him roast it in fire and grind it to powder, and then let him put some into his eye, and he will see them. Let him also pour it into an iron tube and seal it with an iron signet that they should not steal it from him. Let him also close his mouth, lest he come to harm. Rabbi Bibi ben Abed did so, saw them and came to harm. The scholars, however, prayed for him and he recovered. It has been taught, how that Benjamin says, a man's prayer is heard by God only in the synagogue. For it is said, to hearken unto the song and to the prayer. The prayer is to be recited where there is song. Rabbi ben Rabbi Ada says in the name of Rabbi Isaac, how do you know that the Holy One, blessed be he, is to be found in the synagogue? For it is said, God standeth in the congregation of God. And how do you know that if 10 people pray together the divine presence is with them? For it is said, God standeth in the congregation of God. And how do you know that if 3 are sitting as a court of judges the divine presence is with them? For it is said, in the midst of the judges he judgeth. And how do you know that if 2 are sitting and studying the Torah together the divine presence is with them? For it is said, then they that feared the Lord spoke one with another. And the Lord hearkened and heard, and a book of remembrance was written before him, for them that feared the Lord, and that thought upon his name. What does it mean, and that thought upon his name? Rabbi Ashi says, if a man thought to fulfill a commandment and he did not do it, because he was prevented by force or accident, then the scripture credits it to him as if he had performed it. And how do you know that even if one man sits and studies the Torah the divine presence is with him? For it is said, in every place where I cause my name to be mentioned I will come unto thee and bless thee. Now, since the divine presence is even with one man, why is it necessary to mention 2? The words of 2 are written down in the book of remembrance. The words of 1 are not written down in the book of remembrance. Since this is the case with 2, why mention 3? I might think the dispensing of justice is only for making peace, and the divine presence does not come to participate. Therefore he teaches us that justice also is Torah. Since it is the case with 3, why mention 10? To a gathering of 10 the divine presence comes first. To 3, it comes only after they sit down. Rabbi Abin son of Rabbi Ada in the name of Rabbi Isaac says, further, how do you know that the Holy One, blessed be he, puts on tefillin? For it is said, the Lord hath sworn by his right hand, and by the arm of his strength. Be his right hand. This is the Torah. For it is said, at his right hand was a fiery law unto them, and by the arm of his strength, this is the tefillin. As it is said, the Lord will give strength unto his people. And how do you know that the tefillin are strength to Israel? For it is written, and all the peoples of the earth shall see that the name of the Lord is called upon thee, and they shall be afraid of thee. And it has been taught, Rabbi Eliezer the Great says, this refers to the tefillin of the head. Rabbi Naaman ben Isaac said to Rabbi Hiya ben Abin, what is written in the tefillin of the Lord of the universe? He replied to him, and who is like thy people Israel, a nation one in the earth, does, then, the Holy One, blessed be he, sing the praises of Israel. Yes, for it is written, thou hast avouched the Lord this day, and the Lord hath avouched thee this day. The Holy One, blessed be he, said to Israel, you have made me a unique entity in the world, and I shall make you a unique entity in the world. You have made me a unique entity in the world, as it is said, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and I shall make you a unique entity in the world, as it is said, and who is like thy people Israel, a nation one in the earth. Rabbi Aha ben Rabba said to Rabbi Ashi, this accounts for one case. What about the other cases? He replied to him, they contain the following verses, for what great nation is there, etc. And what great nation is there, etc. Happy art thou, O Israel, etc. Or hath God a saw yet, etc. And to make thee high above all nations. If so, there would be too many cases. Hence, you must say, for what great nation is there, and in what great nation is there, which are similar, are in one case. Happy art thou, O Israel, and who is like thy people, in one case. Or hath God a saw yet, in one case. And to make thee high, in one case. And all these verses are written on the tefillin of his arm. Rabin son of Rabbi Ada in the name of Rabbi Isaac says, further, if a man is accustomed to attend synagogue daily, and one day does not go, the Holy One, blessed be he, makes inquiry about him. For it is said, who is among you that feareth the Lord, that obeyeth the voice of his servant, and now walketh in darkness and hath no light? And still, if he absented himself on account of some religious purpose, he shall have light. But if he absented himself on account of a worldly purpose, he shall have no light. Let him trust in the name of the Lord. Why? Because he ought to have trusted in the name of the Lord and he did not trust. Rabbi Johanan says, whenever the Holy One, blessed be he, comes into a synagogue and does not find 10 persons there, he becomes angry at once. For it is said, wherefore, when I came, was there no man? When I called, was there no answer? Rabbi Helbo, in the name of Rabbi Hannah, says, whosoever has a fixed place for his prayer as the God of Abraham is his helper. And when he dies, people will say of him, where is the pious man? Where is the humble man? One of the disciples of our father Abraham. How do we know that our father Abraham had a fixed place for his prayer? For it is written, and Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he had stood. And standing means nothing else but prayer. For it is said, then stood up Phinehas and prayed. Rabbi Helbo, in the name of Rabbi Hannah, says, further, when a man leaves the synagogue, he should not take large steps. Abbe says, this is only when one goes from the synagogue, but when one goes to the synagogue, it is a pious deed to run. For it is said, let us run to know the Lord. Rabbi Zera says, at first when I saw the scholars running to the lecture on a Sabbath day, I thought that they were desecrating the Sabbath. But since I have heard the saying of Rabbi Tanhum in the name of Rabbi Joshua ben Levi, a man should always, even on a Sabbath, run to listen to the word of Halachah, as it is said, they shall walk after the Lord, who shall roar like a lion, I also run. Rabbi Zera says, the merit of attending a lecture lies in the running. Abbe says, the merit of attending the Kala sessions lies in the crush. Rabba says, the merit of repeating a tradition lies in improving the understanding of it. Rabbi Papa says, the merit of attending a house of mourning lies in the silence observed. Mar Zutra says, the merit of a fast day lies in the charity dispensed. Rabbi Sheshet says, the merit of a funeral oration lies in raising the voice. Rabbi Ashi says, the merit of attending a wedding lies in the words of congratulation addressed to the bride and bridegroom. Rabbi Hannah says, whosoever prays at the rear of a synagogue is called wicked. For it is said, the wicked walk round about. Abbe says, this only applies where he does not turn his face towards the synagogue, but if he does turn his face towards the synagogue there is no objection to it. There was once a man who prayed at the rear of a synagogue and did not turn his face towards the synagogue. Elijah passed by and appeared to him in the guise of an Arabian merchant. He said to him, are you standing with your back to your master? And drew his sword and slew him. One of the scholars said to Rabbi Bibi ben Abay, some say, Rabbi Bibi said to Rabbi Naaman ben Isaac, what is the meaning of, when vileness is exalted among the sons of men? He replied to him, these are the things of supreme importance, which nevertheless people neglect. Rabbi Johanan and Rabbi Eliezer both interpret, as soon as a man needs the support of his fellow creatures his face changes color like the karam, as it is said, as the karam is to be reviled among the sons of men. What is the karam? When Rabbi Dimi came from Palestine, he said, there is a bird in the coast towns whose name is karam, and as soon as the sun shines upon it it changes into several colors. Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi both say, when a man needs the support of his fellow beings, it is as if he were punished with two opposite punishments, with fire and water. For it is said, when thou hast caused men to ride over our heads, we went through fire and through water. Rabbi Helbo further said in the name of Rabbi Hannah, a man should always take special care about the afternoon prayer, for even Elijah was favorably heard only while offering his afternoon prayer. For it is said, and it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening offering, that Elijah the prophet came near and said, hear me, O Lord, hear me. Hear me single quote, that the fire may descend from heaven, and hear me single quote, that they may not say it is the work of sorcery. Rabbi Johanan says, special care should be taken also about the evening prayer. For it is said, let my prayer be set forth as incense before thee. The lifting up of my hands is the evening sacrifice. Rabbi Naaman ben Isaac says, special care should be taken also about the morning prayer. For it is said, O Lord, in the morning shalt thou hear my voice. In the morning will I order my prayer unto thee, and will look forward. Rabbi Helbo further said in the name of Rabbi Hannah, whosoever partakes of the wedding meal of the bridegroom and does not felicitate him does violence to the 5 voices mentioned in the verse, the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of them that say, give thanks to the Lord of hosts. And if he does gladden him, what is his reward? Rabbi Joshua ben Levi said, he is privileged to acquire the knowledge of the Torah which was given with 5 voices. For it is said, and it came to pass on the 3rd day, when it was morning, that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the horn. And when the voice of the horn waxed louder, Moses spoke and God answered him by voice. This is not so. For it is written, and all the people perceived the thunderings. These voices were before the revelation of the Torah. Rabbi Abihu says, it is as if he had sacrificed a thanksgiving offering. For it is said, even of them that bring offerings of thanksgiving into the house of the Lord. Rabbi Naaman ben Isaac says, it is as if he had restored one of the ruins of Jerusalem. For it is said, for I will cause the captivity of the land to return as at the first, saith the Lord. Rabbi Helbo further said in the name of Rabbi Hannah, if one is filled with the fear of God his words are listened to. For it is said, the end of the matter, O having been heard, fear God, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole man. What means, for this is the whole man? Rabbi Elazar says, the Holy One, blessed be he, says, the whole world was created for his sake only. Rabbi Abba ben Kahana says, he is equal in value to the whole world. Rabbi Simeon ben Azay says, some say, Rabbi Simon ben Zoma says, the whole world was created as a satellite for him.